right, folks, I'm with Juan O Savin. Juanito, can you hear me, Juanito?
Hey, bro.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of things developing, and I'm going to pull up an article right here. Trump is now moving the National Guard into deploy the National Guard in the DC capital, and now threatening to use the National Guard in other cities, which we can imagine what cities those will be. Now, you've always said that we could stand to lose you say 13 to 15 cities, which is about 14 cities.
Well, I didn't say we'd lose them.
We
They
could.
will become the refuge or the fallback position for a lot of the mischief that's going to go on. Yeah,
Okay.
14
So,
cities.
am I right in saying that what he's doing is using that? I guess he's properly using problem reaction solution of the man that got jumped in Washington D.C. by all the hoodlums as a reason to deploy the National Guard, setting up his ducks in a row for the potential civil unrest that's going to come when he starts the arrests. He's basically putting his chess pieces in position, correct?
Well, words mean things, so I think it's important to say it correctly. He isn't starting the arrests. The arrests are starting because legal action is progressing. The investigative is now switching over into prosecutorial. And so grand juries are being seated. The Russia stuff starts out. And it's going to be a steady, incremental sequence between the information about 2016 and 17 and 2020 and 2021, 2022 midterm elections and the 24 elections. The truth is going to be steadily coming out in each phase of what's been going on in election interference. And remember, Russia was done as election interference initially with the dossier and the attempt to slime Trump, do essentially October surprises, things like that, to block him from being able to get in the presidency in the first place, and also to neutralize information. Remember, if you get right down to it, the disclosures, the Julian Assange stuff that was released in the fall of 2016 really affected the public far more than people want to acknowledge or admit or remember even now. And so, all chicken stuff, things like that, sacrifice the chicken or something. And this is important because it was very inflammatory at the time within the public. Now you're getting to the tail end of these things where the prosecutions begin, and people that got locked themselves into a position, kind of into a corner, took a side, are now going to have to, either eat some crow or fight over it or be in denial. And it's not going to be, the numbers are not going to favor Trump's opposition. They just don't have the numbers. Does that mean that it's nobody? No, it's just that they're not as big as these people would purport it to be. You have some very demonstrative people that have gotten paid to be there as instigators. And as the people get arrested this time around, it's not the same as what was going on in 2016 and 2020 and like that, with the really criminal gangs being able to go out and do mischief in the streets of the cities, bricks being conveniently parked on streets available to the rioters. And Trump is getting ahead of this. Remember also that in 2020, before the sixth event, Trump offered Pelosi 15,000 National Guard troops to maintain peace in Washington, D.C. during events. And Nancy Pelosi did not want that. And part of the issue here that people don't understand then versus now, the legislature, the Congress, has the legal authority to police the city of Washington, D.C. to maintain and supervise that policing. What Trump's doing right now is he's essentially saying that they're unable to police properly. So he is taking control of DC as the executive and as the commander in chief and placing troops on the streets so that there
But
won't be a repeat
it's to
this time
kill,
around.
really to kill two birds with one stone. I mean, yes, it's to take care of the crime that's on the streets, but also he's putting his ducks in a row. He's putting his pieces in the proper position for the coming arrests. That's
Yes.
okay.
And by the way, let me just add this, remember, that's why I mentioned 15,000 a second ago. 1,000 is a very modest step forward. So he's already asserted, back in the day, 4.5 years ago, that he could do 15,000 in an instant. And that's what people should have in their mind. This is just, it takes people
15,000
time to get
arrests.
no, 15,000 National Guard troops back in 2020 and 2021. And so, for context, that's a number that he was very comfortable if needed. He could deploy. We're only talking 1,000 right now, but what that 1,000 do is they get into position, they get bivouacked in, they've got kind of a feeling for where they want to work from, and now you can amp up with the additional troops very, very quickly as the need arises. And so, part of the reason for repositioning those troops is so that you don't have a real problem when the moment comes. Remember, Trump did the big parade with all the military forces for the 250th anniversary of the Army. They had the fireworks, and then he had these flags planted on the front lawn of the White House, two of them. And essentially, visually, and to all the various entities around DC that have a part, he was staking out the high ground in the swamp and then put protective fencing around the White House and protective fencing around the Treasury. No other buildings. Now they could add other buildings with protective fencing, but at this point in time, he's bringing in the troops instead. And these are messages, these are visual signals to everybody involved. If anybody comes in and is trying to do unlawful things, they won't be dealt with in the manner that had been done previously. They're not just going to bail out the same day. These are going to be
That
federal
that
crimes
being
with federal mandates.
that being said, I just pulled up a picture of Obama and Trump together. I believe this was a funeral they were at, correct? Or yeah, with Melania there. Melania looks like she's serious. She wants nothing to do with Obama. She looks almost disgusted.
Yep.
Trump is sitting there very friendly with Obama. How can they be so friendly with each other? I mean, the game that they're both playing is do or die. I mean, it's really last man standing, and here they are, almost looking like friends. Is there anything to this photo? A lot of people say just looking at this photo, that's a bunch of hogwash. Obama's not going to get arrested. Neither is it's all garbage. What do you have to say to those people?
Bullshit. Trump can be disarming. He can be gentlemanly. Like any fight, you come in, tap the gloves, and you go at it. But this isn't a friendly fight. Uh, Obama and the crew around him. Remember, Obama's not his own man. He's somebody else's puppet. Obama
Careful here.
came
You
in.
could say all this on .tv, but on here, just let's be a little fluff.
Uh, they can, um, you know, Trump is playing for the kill. Obama's playing for the kill. That's the history. And whatever optics they put out um, for the public, that's just, it's just people puffing the chest. Let's go see who's actually going to win this. Uh, I say Trump.
Yeah, how many when this is all said and done, how many arrests are we looking at? Obviously, we know the first few arrests could happen. We're assuming could happen by fall, by spring latest is what the window is, what I'm hearing.
No, this is coming on pretty quickly now.
Okay.
Uh, there's uh, depositions, interviews, congressional interviews that happen starting mid-September and go to mid-October. Is the last of the scheduled ones that I'm aware of thus far, and that's on October 16th.
So
If you allow a little bit of time to digest that testimony, and with what's been prepared to go before grand juries, you could have an arrest at the tail end of October, which is what I'm anticipating. Actually,
okay, all right, let's say
publicly with
that.
certain date. So, yeah.
Juanito, how many, and we'll go into the details on this on the .tv, folks, Ninoscorner.tv, but Juanito, how
And
many?
by the way, just let me say one thing, Nino. I
Okay.
hope people listened to the last couple interviews I did with you. I dropped solid gold bars
Yeah, you
into
did.
those interviews that were on the back channel. I don't know. I don't know that anybody out there anywhere in the alternative media has given any of those pieces of key
Oh,
information I gave.
you've been over the target so many times.
Yeah, I mean the stuff that people want to talk about. You know, certain subjects. I can't even say the name. I'll probably get in trouble. But nobody else has given those pieces that I'm aware of anywhere in there. And
So,
so I'll do that with other shows as I get the chance. I just don't get to take it down. But anyway, go
Juanito,
ahead.
am I right in saying that there may not be the Democratic Party may be no longer by the year 2028 when all this goes down? Will there be just the remnants of the Democratic Party? Will it be completely finished, or will they still be strong enough to nominate a candidate to go forward into the election?
I don't believe that the Democrats survive what's coming, even to field a viable candidate in 2028. There may be enough momentum, dead cat bounce
Yeah.
is what we call it in the markets, to get through 2028. But I think it's a done deal, and others do also. Now, Elon's operating with that in mind, but a number of other people are also working hard to begin to form that third party. And I'll use something as an example. A very powerful movement has formed to break off a portion of California for to start a new state. It started in the north. You have other states where this is occurring. Washington State wants to split. Oregon wants to split and become Greater Idaho, merge into Idaho. There's a number of these actions where it's certain of the cities that have become so out of control and controlling of the politics, the judicial, the way that the taxes are levied and spent, that others are ready to just go away. They just are done. And so you look at the New California, the map for New California, and it encompasses most of the state except for a small band around San Francisco and down to southern Los Angeles, but not all the way to San Diego. And it's about 9/10 of the state of at least three-quarters of the state that want to break away and create an entirely new state. And for cause, because those more rural areas believe that they've been just completely run over with the corrupt politics. With that in mind, part of the issue in California is election fraud. And the issues that are
Careful on
going to
that.
come
We'll talk
forward.
about that on .tv.
Okay, well, the issues that'll come forward, I'll be careful, but the issues that are going to come forward have to do with whether or not people's voice is legitimately being heard, at the ballot box, or if it's being corrupted. With that in mind, if you can't get government, then maybe there's a point where you just have to go somewhere else, because that's ultimately what the issue is in all of these locations. They can't win for losing. And so if you correct, and this is why President Trump specifically asked key people involved in that specific movement, please hold and let me help you on that issue. And I believe that when the revelations come shortly, as they do, not just at the arrests, but in the preparations for trial, all of these people will be able to get their attorneys. Many of them are going to Gitmo, and then the preparations on the road to trials. When they get to their trials, the public's going to hear about all of the frauds and mischief. And with things that are coming for 2026, that are in the pipeline, including some events
So
here in the fall.
this all needs to happen before the midterms.
Well, I can't say that you'll ever get through all of it before then, but there's significant things that are coming. In fact, I've been working with some of the staff and other people to put together an event in DC, and I believe we're going to be doing that on September 24th. A review of everything that we have, how we got to where we're at on the election stuff, the mechanics, the machinery, a report that I've alluded to here within your channel several times about the technical side.
Yes,
of
get into that on 𝗏TV.
well, let me just say that the technical, a very comprehensive technical report by the Oppenheimers and Tellers within the research and scientific community, the best and brightest in America. That was completed and was given to the president and to other appropriate parties many long weeks ago. They're aware of it. That'll probably break. I'd like to break that, even the part that can be on the civilian side, maybe at that September 24th event. But it will shock the public, and it will also shock the world, because something similar is going on in the world. I told you that there's 71 countries plus the United States has been being
I don't want to
perpetrated.
go into that on YouTube. Let's go back to the back channel one. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's go back to Ninoscorner.tv. Are you good with that?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Juanito.
All right.
Folks, go to 𝗃𝗏𝗃.com, 𝗃𝗏𝗃.com, baby.
Oh, hey, Nino.
Yeah.
Jen has gotten tremendous response, and some of the notes that she's gotten are just, stunning on her I talk about the parasite stuff, but she calls it something else there on her site. And people really are responding, understanding that there's a huge health crisis, even in the way that things are reported to the public, and doctors discuss it like that. And a lot of the stuff that we're looking at, where people have various illness, disease, etc., is actually related to parasitic issues. And so she has stuff there on her site talking about that, and a couple of the things that she's put together along with her book, on healthy eating and like that. So folks, take a look at that. I think there's been just a tremendous response to that, and the people that have actually got it. So anyway,
I'll put the link down below, folks. Hit 𝗃𝗏𝗃.com. It'll be down there below. Thanks, Juanito. I'll see you at 𝗏TV.
All right, bro.